Good morning. You listen to FloorDaily.net, and I'm Kemp Harr. This morning, my guest is Drew Hash, the newly named CEO of Southwind Building Products. Drew, how you doing?
Kemp, I'm doing well this morning. How you doing?
I'm good. I've missed talking to you. I've been wanting to catch up with you since you left Shaw and went over to take the leadership role at Southwind. Before we get into what Southwind's doing right now, let's go through a quick history, if you would. First, you have been in the flooring business most of your career. You started with Triangle Pacific and was part of that acquisition and went over to Armstrong. And those were big numbers back then. I mean, these are, Bruce and Harco and Robbins and $1 billion worth of hardwood that was acquired by Armstrong. Then you got over with Zigraft Hardwoods, and you were there for about 4.5 years. And then you spent 14.5 years at Shaw and ultimately was the vice president of hard surfaces, working directly for Scott Sandlin before you made this move over to Southwind. And that was in January. And most people know Southwind, just go quickly to that history, Ann Eaton sold Southwind to Randy Hatch and Richard Abramowitz, two executives from Beaulieu of America. And they grew it rapidly, turning a carpet company, which was a broadloom carpet company. They invested in technology there, also carpet tile business, and then got into hard surface, and that became even bigger than the carpet business. So they sold that company to F9 Brands, which most people know. Tom Sullivan is a big investor there, and it recently came out that Southwind was going to be separated from the B2C brands, Closets to Go, and there's several other brands there. So you get to focus on the B2B side of the business. Is that all right?
I'll tell you, that was perfect all the way through. Been a part of some great organizations, and as you mentioned, some great folks like Scott and Chris Thompson. Again, I've been very fortunate in my career to work alongside a lot of folks. And one thing I would add is another owner of the company, Brett Perkins, who really kind of spearheaded the whole movement of hard surface into Southwind and really changed the whole trajectory from, a carpet-centric company here in Dalton to, a full-service distributor and manufacturer of soft and hard surface. So Brett had a big part of the history here as well.
Yeah, one of the reasons that I started with I miss talking to you is your personality. You have kind of an all-shucks demeanor. You're fun to talk to, and you always tell the truth. So it's good to catch up with you. So now that we've got the background behind us, we've identified that you're CEO, you're leading Southwind now in the broadloom, carpet tile, LVT, and laminate business, and also the closet business. So where do you go from here?
I think first and foremost, I do want to mention one of the things I figured out really quickly here, Kemp, was I sat down with everybody, and all the names you mentioned from Ann through, Richard and Randy have built just an incredible culture here. I mean, I've said this over and over because I firmly believe that the customer is at the center here of what we do, and you can feel that when you talk to our employees, when you talk to our both internal employees as well as our sales associates in the marketplace. So we're very fortunate. Number one, we have a great staff here. One of the things that did attract me here, I want to add, is my former sales lead at Zigraft, Randy Lovelace, runs our sales here. And I worked side by side with an outstanding lady, Kim Colquitt, who ran sourcing for hard surfaces at Shaw. That they were both already here. And that was another reason that really attracted me to come, along with Jason Delves, who's the CEO of F9, who he and I we've known each other in the industry for many, many, many years. But as far as our plans going forward, we're going to continue to build on, what we do, which is, if we talk on the hard surface side of things, Kemp will be launching later this year, and really a big launch at Surfaces in 2024, additional laminate programs, additional products in WPC and SPC. So we'll continue to do that. But at the core of our business still is carpet, and we're working on some really cool things that we're going to do as we add in a new collection of fashion styles, really with some sophisticated loop products and LCL. So we're going to really continue to expand on carpet and still believe there's so much opportunity in soft floor covering, and we're going to seize that opportunity. I mean, frankly, there are a lot of folks that do hard surface similar to what we do. There are not that many competitors that are in the carpet business compared to what you see now in vinyl.
When I first met you and you were coming out of Zigraft, I said you had sawdust in your veins, and you actually don't have a real hardwood program right now, do you?
I'm glad you mentioned that because we will be also launching new wood products as well. That'll be a 2024 early initiative. That's a good point. Yes, wood still is my favorite product to sell is hardwood, and yes,
Yeah.
today we don't participate. Good point.
Another thing that I want to point out is one of the reasons you're able to make such exciting styles out of carpet is that you invested in this color point technology. And so, I mean, you have some of the latest and greatest in tufting equipment, right?
Again, we're very fortunate there of the investments over the years that the company has made. So yes, and we'll continue, as I mentioned, to expand on that.
I noticed on your website that you have a dealer locator, and there's 500 of them listed there. Your website is looks like it's being by Broadloom, so you've got some good partners in the business, don't you?
I'll say it again, fortunate. We've got, as I mentioned, 50 plus salespeople. We've got a national footprint. We've got some very, very loyal dealers, and I'm trying to spend as much as my time, both inside as well as outside, meeting our customers and understanding their needs. And frankly, you know, what drew them to Southwind and how we become a better suppliers. And part of that is just like I mentioned, one of the things I hear more and more is, hey, bring us more. So that's what we're going to be working on is doing that.
You know, I did a video interview with Randy and Richard from Surfaces of 2018, and they had a smirk on their face because the company just took off. And the reason it did, and it's the same thing you bring to the company, is passion. They were passionate, and you're passionate, and that's what's going to bring you success, right?
Yeah, those guys, certainly Richard is from, as far as when you think of a salesperson, there's the picture you get, not to be somber here, but the sad story of here's a guy that worked so hard for so many years and didn't get to enjoy all the fruits of it. And unfortunate what happened with Richard, but what a fine gentleman. And of course, Randy behind the scenes really driving this thing financially. So again, it was a great team. Like I said, along with Brett, you know, the sky's the limit here. We certainly, as you know, Kemp, the last few years have been kind of crazy. If you think about all the things that we as an industry have been dealing with tariffs and COVID and all the health issues with teammates, and then the whole supply chain, and now UFLPA. So, you know, plenty of challenges that we fight through, but who knows what's around the bend. I'm sure there'll be more of the same. It seems like that's we go from one challenge to the next, doesn't it?
Well, Drew, with you at the helm, I know there'll be success in the future. So it's good to talk to you, and thanks for talking to my listeners. Again, been talking to Drew Hash, the newly named CEO of Southwind Building Products, and you've been listening to Kemp Harr and FloorDaily.net.